First and foremost, I want to say Kol Halalim Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Harakakadash Wabarakadam. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Alright, it's your little brother Shema Shawan here. Had a little bit of interruptions on the way coming over here. Kind of had to halt video production. So, here I am back again. I'm starting to kind of figure out places where I can go to get these videos out. To try and continue some of the series that I did start out with when I was back home in Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? So, last time I was here, I did Capitol Hill Part 2. This time we're going to finish up Assyrians. We're going to do Assyrians Part 3. We'll just see how this lesson goes. I may do Part 4. But I think once I'm done with this lesson, really not much info that I can really, not really much more info I can kind of bring out on the Assyrians. This kind of ends here, So let's get right into it. This is 2nd Esdras, chapter 13. We'll start at 40. Okay, now this entire chapter is merely just a dream that's coming to Esdras, and it's pretty much about, some of it's about end time prophecy, but this one is actually talking about the past. Okay, this already happened. Just keep that in mind. Okay? Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea. Okay, Hosea says O-S-E-A, but this is the same guy, Hosea, the king of the northern kingdom, is the same Hosea it's talked about in Esdras chapter 13, verse 40. Okay? The king whom Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, led away captive, he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. Okay? Keep that word another land in the back of your head. Okay? This is going to be a light recap of pretty much what we went into in part 2. Okay? Talking about how Shalmaneser, King Hosea slew Pekah. Okay? And Hosea took Pekah's spot as the king of Israel. Okay? Of the northern kingdom. Alright? And then Shalmaneser in turn took Hosea as well as the entirety of the northern kingdom and brought them into the cities of the Medes. Okay? This is, that guy, I could tell you was eyeing me. This is Halley's Bible Handbook, page 208. Page 208, Halley's Bible Handbook. Archaeological note. Okay? Captivity of North Israel by Tiglath-Pileser. Tiglath-Pileser's own inscriptions. Yeah, actually, that's not even really the one that I wanted. Yeah, I want the one at the bottom. Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, saying the same thing, but I want the one at the bottom better. I like that one better. This is page 208. Captivity of Israel by Assyria 721 BC. Archaeological note. Hosea slew Pekah and reigned in his stead. Hosea brought tribute to the king of Assyria. An inscription of Tiglath-Pileser says, Pekah their king they had overthrown. I placed Hosea over them. From him I received 10 talents of gold and 1,000 talents of silver. 1,000 talents of silver. Archaeological note. Captivity of Israel. The king of Assyria besieged Samaria 3 years and took it, and carried Israel away, and brought men from Babylon and placed them in the cities of Samaria. An inscription of Sargon says, in my first year I captured Samaria. I took captive 27,290 people of other lands who never paid tribute. I settled in Samaria. And when you go look under Assyria, on the little bold tag here, and you read to around the middle of the paragraph, it says right here, Assyrian policy was to deport conquered peoples to other lands, to destroy their sense of nationalism and make them more easily subject. That's pretty much the point. That's pretty much recapping everything we went over in the other lesson. They took Assyria took the northern kingdom out of their land, took them out of Samaria, took them out of the northern part of Israel, the northern kingdom part of Israel, and put other people in that land. And those people were still in that land years later when Yahweh Shai came on the scene and rebuked the Samaritan woman. Okay? Moving on. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 13, verse 41. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. Okay, a land where never mankind dwelt. So keep that in the back of your mind also. Let me look in my notes, make sure I'm not missing anything. You know. All right, looked at my notes real quick. You know, that's just clues. Okay, just keep these things in the back of your mind, because when I start to go on later in the lesson, these clues will kind of all come together into a head, and that'll kind of tell us, one, who's the northern kingdom, and how this all plays and goes together. You know. Verse. Drop my phone. Verse 42, that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And I'm going to come back to this. This is another clue, okay? So what's clue number one? We got that it was a land where never mankind dwelt, okay? And clue number two is that they went there to keep their laws, statutes, and commandments, okay? So that means it's telling me that this people, these Israelite peoples, came into a far-off place where never mankind dwelt and went there to keep their laws, statutes, and commandments. Okay? That's another clue. Verse 43, and they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. Okay, when you actually look up the Bible captivity map of Euphrates, it lines up perfectly. Okay? Euphrates River, narrow spaces. Found it. 2 Kings chapter 18 and 11. Alright, so we know that the northern kingdom was pushed into an area called Halah by the river Gozan. Okay, and I have it right here. It'll probably be a little bit hard to see. I'll probably just put the photo instead. Alright, but when you look at the photo, right, let's go back into it, right? And they enter Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river. So when you look at Halah in Haran, alright, and that river Gozan, it's right there by the narrow passages of the river. Okay? Verse 44. For the Most High Yahweh then shewed signs for them, and had still the flood till they were passed over. Alright, and this is obviously something that happened in Egypt as well as in the time of Joshua. Okay? Verse 45. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half, and the same region is called Arzareth. Okay? Same region is called Arzareth. Hold on. Let me move my books. Yeah. I actually missed the point. Yeah. I missed the point on verse 44. I'm going to go back into it. For the Most High then shewed signs for them, and had still the flood till they were passed over. And I just want to get a quick precept on that signs, all right? Because the Most High does impart work through signs, okay? And that's all over the scriptures, I mean. But I just want to get, just a quick precept that I was thinking of when I was putting this whole lesson together. All right, so forgive me, if I have to, look down and get my notes and get everything together. I'm kind of I'm a bit of a perfectionist. Like, everything has to be perfect always with me. So this is the book of Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach, chapter 43, verse 6. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world. Okay? So the moon is in part used for signs, for a declaration of times. Okay, when you look at the new moon, we know that that's the Sabbath. Okay, when we look at a full moon, we know that we're partly into the month. We're about halfway into the month. Okay, certain phenomenons in the moon would tell us that this is that we currently are in the age of the end of the world. Okay, that this is the end of the world. Okay, we got certain, I believe there was a blood moon that happened not too long ago. Okay, where the people were spazzing out. They're like, oh, there's a blood moon. Okay, but we know these people, they'll look at that and they'll be dismayed at it, right? Learn not the way of the heathens, they'll be dismayed at the signs of heaven. Okay, these heathens are dismayed at the signs of heaven, but we understand that this is the end of the world. So we understand that we are going to see more signs in the skies. We're going to see more strange events going on. There's already strange weather patterns, it being hotter than it usually is, or uncharacteristically cold winters, uncharacteristically hot summers. Okay, we already expect these things to go down. Okay, we're moving on. Verse 45. Through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. The same region is called Arzareth. Okay, and we're going to come back to that. Actually, no. No, we're going to stay there. Yeah, Arzareth. So, we got a couple clues, right? Before we go into that, we got a couple clues just to recap. Forgive me if things are a little bit disjointed. Okay, so we got a couple clues. All right. We understand that one, they went to a place where never mankind dwelt. Two, we understand that it was a place that was far away. Okay, let me actually look and make sure that is number 2. Right? Yeah, they went there to keep their law, statutes, and commandments. So we put all these things together, right? We're expecting in this land, Arzareth, 1, for it to be a place where never mankind dwelt. 2, we expect the people there to be keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the nation of Israel. Okay? And 3, it's a very far away place. Okay, so we're going to put these all things together. Just keep that all in mind when we're going to kind of get into it, okay? This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter... hold on. Deuteronomy chapter 29 and verse 27. And the anger of the Most High was kindled against this land to bring upon it all the curses that are written in this book. Now I believe in this book, in this chapter, Deuteronomy chapter 29, it's pretty much Israel being warned. Like, if you do not keep these commandments, all these curses are going to come upon you. Okay? Verse 28. And the Most High rooted them out of their land in anger and in wrath and in great indignation, and cast them into another land as it is this day. Okay, when you look into that word, another land, okay, you look at it in the interlinear, it pretty much translates to Arataza Akaraf. Okay, so land, another. Land is the subject, okay, another is the adjective. That's how a lot of these ancient kind of older languages run. Okay, that's how our language runs. Okay, let's even look at Spanish, okay? Let's say, I think you say zapos is shoes. So you say zapados or zapos, I don't know how you say it. Let me choose another word. Yeah, what I say before, medical gringo. Okay, medical gringo. Medical is the subject, gringo would be the adjective. Okay, or you say medical blanco. Okay, medical is the subject, blanco is the, you know, the adjective. Adjectives just describe a certain thing, you know what I'm saying? Okay, but as I said before, it just pretty much means land, another. Yeah, the wind is pushing over my books, my notes. I should actually hold this to be probably a bit of a better idea. Okay, so remember, Arzareth, or pretty much Arataza Akaraf, pretty much translates to land, another. Okay, we're going to pull out a piece of information about this place, Arzareth. Let's see where I put my phone at. Hold on. There it is. Okay. This is the Jewish encyclopedia on Arzareth. Okay. Jewish encyclopedia, Arzareth. Okay. By Morris Jastrow Jr., Kaufman Kohler. The name of the land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of man, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the time of the restoration, according to 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 45. Columbus identified America with this land. Okay, so Arzareth is a land far away. Is America not far away from Israel? Okay, America is miles and miles and miles away. Even by plane, I'm pretty sure it'd have to take at least 5 or 6 hours by plane, and it has to be at least a few days by boat. You know, at least a day or two by boat. Okay. So let's get back into it. Okay, so that land, Arzareth, land, another, has been identified with America. Columbus identified that place with America. And I don't really want to get too far into it, right? But when you look into that map, the Watson-Muller map, which was the first map that named America, Watson-Muller pretty much took the name of Amerigo Vespucci in 1501 to 1502 and pretty much named America after it, and that's where you get the name of America. Okay, remember Watson-Muller. Okay, and pretty much when you look at the wiki for the Watson-Muller map, it says that the map had 10 sources, 10 of which were Arabic and 4 of which were Indian. Okay, so the Moors already knew about this land long before Columbus. Okay, Columbus used Moorish sources to go find this land so he could take down the Northern Kingdom to complete biblical prophecy. Okay, well, let's get back into it. Okay, because that's not enough, man. I can't just leave you with that. All right. This is 2nd Esdras. Back to 2nd Esdras chapter 13. Yeah. 2nd Esdras chapter 13, verse 41. But they took this counsel among themselves that they would lead the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. Okay, before the Native Americans came to America, no one was in it. I don't care what scientists tell you about, oh, this bone and that bone. No one was here until the natives came here, until the Northern Kingdom came here. Okay? That they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. Okay, so if the Jewish encyclopedia is telling you that this place Arzareth, which means Arataza Akaraf, which once again means land another, and they're telling you that, yeah, this place has to be America, okay? It was a place where no one was there before the natives, okay? But now let's look at those natives, all right? What were those natives doing here? Were the natives keeping the law, statutes, and commandments? Okay, let's go look into it. Were they, or were they just doing whatever? Okay. Now some of them were. I'll admit, some of them were, right? But we're gonna look into it. Okay. This is. Hold on. Hold on a minute. This is View of the Hebrews, page 47. I'm going to have the words on the screen. I'm going to have like a picture. I'm going to send it to my computer. Zlakia. I'm going to connect my phone to my computer. I'm going to route it and send it, you know, and then crop it out. From various authors and travelers among the Indians, the fact that the American Indians are the 12 tribes the fact that the American Indians are the 10 tribes of Israel will be attempted to be proved by the following arguments. 1. The American natives have one origin. Okay, they all came down here. Okay, their language appears to have been Hebrew. Okay. Verse 3. They have the imitation of the Ark of the Covenant in ancient Israel. They have been in practice of circumcision. Okay, they went there to a far-off place to keep their law, statutes, and commandments. Okay, you can't make this stuff up. Verse 5. No, note 5. They have acknowledged one and only one God. 6. The celebrated William Penn gives account of the natives of Pennsylvania, which go to corroborate the same point. Okay, that they only have one God. And I actually want to go show another book real quick. This is James Adair, History of the American Indians. Okay, under argument 2. I kind of took the picture a long time ago. I can't really see the page, but just under argument 2. Okay. By a strict, permanent, divine precept, the Hebrew nation was ordered to worship at Jerusalem. They say Jehovah, but it's obviously Yahweh. Okay, the true and living power, and who by the Indians is styled Yohiwa. Okay, even the Indians, well, quote-unquote Indians, right, because Indian means savage, okay? The Northern Kingdom here in America still prayed to the Most High, but they just got the name wrong. They call them Yohiwa, okay? They didn't say Yahweh, okay? Which the 72 interpreters, either from ignorance or superstition, have translated Adonai. Okay, so then the interpreters that were studying in these Native American lands, in the Northern Kingdom lands, okay, they, through superstition, rewrote history and pretty much intentionally mistranslated what the natives were praying to. Okay? And it's the very same as the Greek kurios, where kurios means like Lord, which is commonly applied to earthly potentates, without the least signification of or relation to that most and great awful name. So they're pretty much saying that these interpreters, when they went to study in Native American lands, they intentionally mistranslated the name, okay, and translated and attributed to kurios, or Lord or Master, okay, in the Greek, which has nothing to do with the Most High's name, okay. Moving on. Let me see if I could, it's kind of bugging out. Hold on, brothers. Yeah. Now I'm feeling warmed up. To that most great and awful name, which describes the divine essence, who naturally and necessarily exists of himself without beginning or end. Okay? And I just wanted to get a couple precepts here and there. Alright? This is the book of Daniel. The book of Daniel, chapter 7. We're going to go down to verse 9. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, verse 9. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days, okay, the Most High Yahweh, has no beginning nor any end. Okay, that's why he's called the Ancient of Days. Did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. Okay. Then I wanted to get another one. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 81. Let me test my memory here. See if I can get it right off the head. No. Yeah, 83 and 18. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83 and 18. That men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all the earth. Okay? These natives, okay, these quote-unquote Native Americans, quote-unquote, Northern Kingdom, they knew the name of the Most High. They knew his name was Yahweh. They just got the name wrong. Okay? They have the zeal, but not according to knowledge. Okay? The name just got lost over time as he started to dabble in heathen customs. Okay, when you look at Tenochtitlan and all the human sacrifice that the Northern Kingdom was doing down here in America, okay, just over time the name just kind of got lost, and he kind of butchered it over the many years that they've been down here. Okay. But back into it. Yep. Back into page 57. Back into page 57. Page 57 to argument 7. The Indians, having one tribe, answering in various respects to the tribe of Levi, sheds farther light on the subject. Okay, so they had one tribe, okay, answering various respects to the tribe of Levi, sheds farther light on this subject. Okay, so we do know, when you go look into the account, I believe it is 2 Kings chapter 17, around 38, 39, and 40, around that area, talked about it in the last lesson. They hired, I believe it was Sargon II, hired a Levi priest to teach the heathens in Samaria the ways of our power. Okay? And obviously those heathens, they have nothing to do with our power. They went and served their false gods anyway. Okay? But that tribe of Levi is very possible that you had tribe of Levi mingled among Northern Kingdom, okay, and possibly even went with them to the boat into America. Okay, so you could possibly have various people that may look like Northern Kingdom, may look like Issacharites, may look like Simeonites, all right, but they're really Levites. Moving on, verse 8, argument 8. Several prophetic traits of character given to the Hebrews do accurately apply to the Aborigines of America. Okay, so it's saying that they have certain pieces of prophecy. I believe there was a point around in 2010 when people believed that the world was going to end, and they looked at the Mayan calendar. Okay? Argument 9. The Indians, being in tribes with their heads and names of tribe, afford further light. Okay, and that just kind of speaks for itself. Okay? The tribes of Israel, we had our own tribes, and we had our heads of our tribes. We had order. Okay? Argument 10. They're having something answering to the ancient cities of refuge seems to evince their Israelite extraction. You can't make it up. Argument 11. Their variety of traditions, historical religions, do wonderfully accord with the idea that they descended from the ancient 10 tribes. Okay? The traditions, the historical and religious ceremonies, it's all the same. Okay? It all points back to the northern kingdom being those 10 tribes, okay, which were taken out of Samaria, taken out of their land by Shalmaneser V, and brought into, I think it's Halah and Habor, by the river of Goshen in the cities of Medes. Okay? So that's why when you read in 2nd Ezra chapter 13, in 42, that they might there keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land, okay? Now it starts to make sense when you start to put the pieces all together. Okay? You Northern Kingdom, okay, you Native Americans, you people in South America, you South America, quote-unquote South Americans, okay? You are the 10 tribes of Israel. Okay, you are Israelites, okay, including Levi among you. All right, but it goes much deeper than that, okay, because what about the people in the Medes? The Medes were a little bit more east than Halah and Habor, okay? I can understand the Northern Kingdom and Halah and Habor, okay, taking a boat, and I just showed you the picture, right? I'm going to have the picture shown on the screen again probably about now, okay? I can understand them going through that narrow passages of the Euphrates because they were right next to it. Okay, but what about them that went inside the cities of the Medes? Where are they at? Okay, where do they go to? Okay, they're still there. Some of them are still there. All right, this is just a nice little scripture to end off on. This is the book of James, chapter 1, verse 1. James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. It's like I got a little ahead of myself. James, a servant of the Most High and of the Lord, Yahushua HaMashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greetings. Okay? Let me see if I can move this up a little bit. Greetings. That just kind of explains everything. What more do I need to go into, man? Okay? They went there. When the Israelites went to a far-off land to keep their law, statutes, and commandments. Okay? You got those people in the Medes. Okay? You got Northern Kingdom in the Medes that are still there to this day. Okay? They're still there. All right? You got Levites that are scattered among the Northern Kingdom. This thing gets deep. Okay? But that's pretty much it. I want to prove my point. You know, once again, all the facts are there. You know, the Native Americans, before the quote-unquote natives or indigenous people of this country were here, okay, this land was completely empty. It was a lush, green landscape, okay? I don't care what Esau Edom tells you with his damn science, all right? There was nobody here, okay? The people that came here are using biblical evidence, came here to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, okay? To keep their laws, okay? And when you come down here, what are the indigenous people doing? They were keeping the laws to the best of their ability. They were trying to. Okay, now they were going off. Okay, I can't give them all the credit. They were going off on a lot of things. Okay, with the long hair especially. Okay, but at the end of the day, you know, they still did make an effort. Certain Native American groups still did make an effort to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. All right, so that's all I got for this lesson. I don't Ratazah. It's edifying. You know, I hope I brought out all my points, all my arguments. Once again, Salaki, if it's a little, you know, having to stop a little bit and look at my notes. I'm a very particular person when it comes to these lessons. Everything has to be coming out. You know, everything has to come out. Like I can't, like if I forget a lesson or forget a scripture, I'm probably gonna have to sit there and redo it. All right. So that's all I got. Call Halal Mihawa by Shim Yahushai by Shim Harakakadash. That's all I got. Shalom.